Welcome to Get to the Point. I'm your host, Jessica Spahn, and I'm excited today to bring you a show highlighting the importance of recreation and community, brought to you by the Keller Pointe. Join us each episode and be inspired as we bring you conversations with community leaders who share their experiences, expertise, and explore the role that recreation plays in sustaining well-being and success. What are we waiting for? Let's get to the point. Welcome to Get to the Point. I'm your host, Jessica Spahn, and I have a very special guest here today with me, Eric Cook.
Yes.
He has a title.
Yeah, Regional Director for PC Consulting.
Yes. So I'm very excited to have you here.
Thank you.
For you guys who don't know, we've had interactions with him the last 2 years.
Yes.
With the SEAL program at Goodwill.
Correct.
And we're going to talk more about that and all the cool stuff there. So I guess just start off with what is the program? I guess we'll start by helping people know what that is.
Sure. So the SEAL program stands for Summer Earn and Learn.
Okay.
And it's really a program that allows individuals that are in high school, basically a work internship.
Okay.
They operate on 2 different cohorts at 5 weeks apiece. And so they come in to local employers and get real live job skills training. And then what we do is we go on site and help them as a job coach.
Okay. So how do the candidates who do that, how do they get selected?
So everything goes through the Texas Workforce Solutions Board. So each high school campus has a counselor that's assigned to their district.
Okay.
And so they would get in touch with that counselor through Texas Workforce Solutions.
Okay. That's so interesting. I feel like I didn't know about this at all until you guys showed up and I was at Keller Pointe.
Most people don't.
And I thought, man, you guys came back this year and it was such a joy. It brought so much energy and just people loved having
it is. It's a great experience. So a lot of these individuals have special needs. And so for them to be able to gain some work experience with local employers really is just an awesome experience, not only for them, but for the employer. So it's really a win-win.
So, because this year you had, how many people came through this summer?
So we had 4 for the first 5-week cohort, and then we had an additional 4 for the second. We had a total of 8.
Do you guys usually do?
So it's across the Metroplex. So so Keller Pointe was one employer. We also coached at the community storehouse. We coached at some YMCAs in the area. So there's multiple employers.
Gotcha. Who participate?
Yeah. I think they had in total around 180 participants.
And then how many employers? So would that be just divided by 8?
No, I think they probably had 20 to 30. Yeah, 20 to 30 employers. So
that is so amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to ask these things up front so I don't forget them later. If an employer wants to get involved, how do they reach out to Texas Workforce?
Yeah. So they would go through Texas Workforce Solutions.
Okay.
They would go to the vocational rehabilitation department.
Okay.
And let them know that they're interested in being a employer for the SEAL program.
Okay. I love that. We'll definitely throw that information in there on the show so that if you guys are an employer or you have a great employer that you think would be a good fit, we can direct you there to do it.
Absolutely.
So the first time you did Keller Pointe was 2022.
Correct.
How was that compared to other experiences?
So the Keller Pointe has been fantastic. The staff and the management have been welcoming and very supportive of the program. So from our perspective, on site, it's been a wonderful experience for the individuals that we had got to coach. So
and the feedback we've gotten on our end is really great as well.
Yeah, and what's interesting, as we were on the gym floor and kind of doing our daily task, we get a lot of feedback from the members about thanking us for our service and what we're doing. And it gives us an opportunity to talk a little bit about the program and inform some of the members kind of what the program is. And it's been very well received.
I love that. So how did you get into this?
So that's a long story. Yeah, that's a long story. So my mom was an executive director for a nonprofit in Amarillo, Texas.
Okay.
She left the nonprofit and got involved at that point with the state's vocational rehabilitation department.
Okay.
They were needing service providers to help individuals with disabilities
Okay.
find employment. And so she contracted with the state, and this was about 10 years ago.
Okay.
About 5 years ago, she asked my wife if she would be interested in kind of spearheading our efforts in Dallas-Fort Worth, which she did. And then I joined her about 2 years into that.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay. And so what former experience, you were mentioning that you came here in 2005.
Yeah. So, from Amarillo,
Okay.
I was in the grocery business.
Okay.
So came down with, United Supermarkets to open their first flagship store, Market Street, in Colleyville.
I love Market Street.
Yeah.
And we were chatting briefly before the show, and I remember the days when they had the giveaways. I'm trying to remember how that. Do you remember those days?
I do.
I mean, I just remember them because it was like, I think it was like every month or something, and it was like I built my weekly meal plan around it.
Yes.
So like one time it was a chicken, but it was the not already cleaned out kind, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this. Those
Yeah.
were fun times, though.
Absolutely.
I almost feel like we should bring those back. How do we get those
Yeah,
back? We
exactly.
need to send some votes in. some
Yeah, I still
feedback.
know people.
You know people.
I still
I
know
mean,
people.
because aside from the chicken part, everything else was great.
Yeah.
I think
so
it was bacon one time. It was just like really
it
fun.
is. Yeah, I think it just rotated.
Yeah.
Yeah, on a weekly
It was
basis
really
with the
fun.
ad. Yeah, absolutely.
You seem very analytical to me. And you're a CEO.
I was a CEO for a wealth management
COO.
firm as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you basically are a leader and a coach.
Yeah.
And now you
Yeah.
just take that
Absolutely.
to
Absolutely.
next level with the kids.
Yeah. It's what's really great about what we do is some of the individuals that we work with have really never been given a chance in life, right? And so it's really neat to see somebody that's been told they can't do something. It's really neat to see them flourish in a role that people have told them they can't do. And so it's really heartwarming. We had an individual that I was helping. He's nonverbal, but highly functional, just nonverbal. And we worked with him and got him a job at a local restaurant.
Okay.
And so he rolls silverware for the
He did the
restaurant.
stuff everybody else hated.
Yeah. And
That's the best kind of
and he
person.
has been just a rock for that restaurant,
Mhm.
doing some of the things that.
Are we allowed to know
um,
which restaurant?
Yeah, it's Bacon's
Okay.
in North Richland Hills.
Okay, cool. I've
So,
never been. I'll try
yeah,
it.
it's wonderful place, great people.
It's gonna have very well rolled silverware.
Yes. So he does that, but it fills a big need for them and allows their wait staff to really
Focus
focus
on
on other
Yeah,
things. And so again, we're always trying to find that win-win
Yeah, no, I
relationship
was
with
in-
the
Yeah.
employer and the customer.
I was in
So,
restaurants for a decade.
Yeah.
As a server, I can say thank you to anybody who did any of that stuff because felt like such a waste of
It
time.
is, yes.
There's like 1,000
But so
other things you could be
important.
doing. Oh yeah.
So important, right? I mean, you can't operate the restaurant without it.
I know,
So-
right? That's
so-
such a fun thing to find these little niche.
Yes.
So how do you find the right fit for them then?
So
Like,
it
how do
takes
you
a
select
team.
these?
Yeah, it takes a team. So the way that it works is, so SEAL is just a small portion of what we do.
Okay.
Throughout the year, our main services are providing job placement services
Okay.
for individuals. And so it takes a team. So the individual goes through Texas Workforce Solutions. They get assigned to a rehabilitation counselor.
Okay.
And then once the counselor's worked with that individual to deem them job ready,
Okay.
that's when we come in.
Okay.
So we get the referral for job placement services, and then we meet as a group and really outline a plan for that individual's, job course.
Yeah.
So what their interests are, what their availability is, and then we take them through some assessments. And then throughout that process, we kind of get a good feel of what a good employment
Yeah.
situation would be for them. And then we go out and really craft positions and visit with employers to craft positions for these individuals to be successful.
Well, and you
So,
say craft positions. I know the Keller Pointe did.
yeah, they absolutely
had
did.
to go in and make some revisions to make a role that specifically would allow for two. We have two, right?
Yeah,
Of the
You have three
we
actually.
have three. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, one's there every day. I think he's
Yes.
just there always, but the other two, They're usually there on Saturdays, right? Like at
Right.
noon or something.
Mhm.
They're bundle of energy. I miss them because
Yes.
man, I have a lot of energy too. We'd be like, "What up,
Yes.
Friday?" The
Yeah.
whole office would stare with angry stares because it's Friday and we're yelling. But I love them. They're so much fun.
Yes, they bring a whole different energy
Yeah.
to the environment for
Well,
sure.
it was really cool to see and sit back like from my position and watch like as everything unfolded to make it to where it was possible to have them
Yes,
work
absolutely.
for the Keller Pointe.
Absolutely. So you kind of got to see the behind the
Yeah.
scenes, and so we're on the front side of that, working with employers to really find solutions that
Mhm.
fit their needs, but
Mhm.
also will work for the individuals that we assist. So
That's so neat.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you're doing something right now too. Is it different than Seal?
Yeah, so in addition to SEAL, SEAL is just a summer program.
Okay.
In addition to
Hence the
SEAL,
S.
yep, exactly. So in addition to SEAL, they also do work experience training.
Okay.
And so we're currently working with the individual right now at the point,
Yeah.
doing a 12-week work experience training.
Okay.
And so we're currently in day 2
Yeah.
of that 12-week process.
I thought it was so funny because we spoke a month ago or so.
Yeah.
I was like, you should be on the show. And then I heard that was happening and I was like, oh, it's perfect timing.
It
We're
is,
just like, highlight that
absolutely.
too. So, okay. So what does that look like though? So you said 12 weeks.
Mhm.
So what happens then? Like, let's say once they're done with that process, what's the next step?
It's a great question. So once they finish that process, some of them are still in school, some of them are not.
Okay.
So it just really kind of depends on their situation. So if they're still in school, they'll finish out school, and then if they're not, they can roll right into job placement services.
Okay.
And so that's where we would go in and actually assist them with actually finding competitive integrated employment.
So you have kids, right? You
I
have
do.
kids as
I
well?
do. Yep. Have a 16-year-old that just started driving.
Okay.
So that brings on a whole different set of anxieties and worries, but it's awesome for their independence. And then I have a 13-year-old daughter as well.
Okay.
So.
How does this impact them? Do they get to experience any of this with you guys? Who know you?
Yeah,
might
that's a
both do
great
this?
question. So they know obviously what we do.
Okay.
And it really gives them a different perspective when they're interacting with kids that have, we don't say disabilities, we call it different abilities is,
Yeah, that
is what
sounds fair.
we
Yeah.
use, because
They're able, but differently.
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So whenever they see individuals like that at school, they definitely have a different kind of thought process based on the work that we do. So
That's awesome.
so yeah, it really has kind of opened their eyes into that world, and know that these individuals, although maybe different, they just have different abilities.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, and I know that the city of Keller, the last 2 years, has done a fun little end of summer
Yes.
event at the council meeting. Do all the cities do that, or is it just
No.
special to Keller?
Yeah, I think to my knowledge, it's just special to the city of Keller. So
I love seeing them up there. It's
it's
so
an
much fun. And we got
awesome-
medals made this year.
yes, it's an awesome recognition. So
And it gets probably hopefully more word out to people that don't
it
know
does
about it.
absolutely.
And it's so
And
fun to see them. They're so excited.
yes, the individuals that participate,
Yeah.
they get recognized at city council
By the mayor.
by the mayor. They just man, it's a highlight for them for sure, and something that they'll take with them forever for sure. So
I
yeah.
love that. Yeah, I'll try and
kudos
find
to the
Keller.
city of Keller.
I'm a huge fan. So obviously it impacts your family and it impacts the people that you're doing work with. Outside of that, I mean, like in the community, do you see have any other stories? Let's just go with that. Do you have any other stories of successes like the ones at the point or the
Yeah,
silverware?
absolutely. There are many that we've worked with. One individual that stands out to me. He was really told from infancy. His parents were told that that he wouldn't be able to work, and that that they really weren't given much hope. Well, he did the SEAL program
Okay.
at a different employer.
Okay.
It was a warehouse. And so he learned, we did on-site coaching with him. So he learned some skills and abilities. And after the program ended, they said, man, he did such a great job. We want to know if he would be interested in
Yeah.
working for us full time. And so there was there was a language barrier, but once we got through that, they brought him on board. and he was recognized as one of their top team members in a manufacturing company there was probably 450 employees, and he was one of their top team members. He came in, he did his job. He just did a phenomenal job, was super efficient. But yeah, those stories are really heartwarming because, they were told that, hey, this, employment and that sort of thing might not be an option. And then for them to find a role that really that fits them, that they enjoy, but then also, meets the need of an employer is, it's like everything aligns.
Yeah, it's the win-win-win situation.
Yeah,
I love what you guys are doing.
I would say that's the theme, is win-win. I think that, the work that everybody does, not just that we do, but it's a collective, all hands on deck with the state, with the vocational rehabilitation department. Goodwill is a player in that. What we do. So it's a collective
business.
Yeah. And then the employers, I mean, it's a multifaceted, operation, really. There's many hands and many variables that go into it. But, when you can find the right fit, it just, it's really heartwarming for sure.
Oh, I love it. At the end of the day, when you get it all worked out, it's such a great thing that you're
Absolutely.
doing. We appreciate you. I wanted to have you on the podcast because it's just so unique, I think. I don't know a lot of people who know about this.
Right.
So I wanted to try and get word out more to the community as far as like what you guys do and how other businesses can get involved.
You bet.
Or how, if someone has a kiddo that they would like to get involved.
Yes.
With however that works.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I would say to that, Texas Workforce Solutions website would be the step one.
Okay.
If you have a child that's in school, I would visit with their vocational rehabilitation counselor.
Okay.
Each campus has one from the state.
Okay.
You can find out who that is, and that's really your path to services.
Okay.
Is through them.
So that would be their first step.
Absolutely.
If they felt like they needed it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So anywhere else we can find you guys? Follow like what? Goodwill Central North Texas.
Yeah. Absolutely.
For socials.
Texas Workforce Solutions.
Okay. Do they have a social?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
I should have probably looked that up.
I'm sure
before
they
the show. We'll find out together though.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, I guess we'll close it out.
Okay. Cool.
You ready?
Ready.
What are you waiting for? Get to the point.